Hey everybody, this is Perch, and we're back looking at the history of Oh no, Superman! You don't put your hand up like that. There's flags oh. All right. Well, we're in for quite a journey here as we look at Dollar Comics. This is World's Finest, number 247. And before we get into why Superman is Hitler here, it's amazing. This is $1. It's 80 pages. We've got a main Superman story that appears to be that Superman's taking over the world, and the Justice League is horrified, and he's got a Nazi army. We got the full armbands and hats, and they went all out. I mean, yikes! But we also got a Wonder Woman story, a Black Canary story, Vigilante, Green Arrow. How will this go? And surely this is not what's actually happening. This has to be a trick, an imaginary story, something that's crazy. But unfortunately I'm here to tell you that it is not. There is a Superman who will go full blown Hitler in this comic. So let's get into it. We start right out the bat with Batman, who's wearing a hat and overcoat over his mask and costume, which is not a great disguise. For being the world's greatest detective, he is, he's just wandering around with this coat open. He's trapped in an alley. We've got a couple, like two guys getting ready to shoot him, and a very ominous looking poster of Superman who's calling himself literally Big Brother, obey and be happy. So how could we have possibly gotten into this situation? Well, as we learn, there was a gangster that Batman was trying to stop, and he got away, but he basically, there's some very weird dialogue between him and Commissioner Gordon, where Batman's not able to stop this Mad Dog guy in this private plane, and so Batman makes a deal and traded a police car to the criminal in return for a stone tablet. But and there's a joke about his favorite color is mauve. I don't know. Anyway, the key is his stone tablet, which reveals a shocking story, and it's that Superman has a twin brother, Kor-El, who also escaped his home planet destruction, and then his twin brother was actually trapped in kryptonite by Superman. Ram Druid Space Roustabout basically tells him that there is a strange, hunchbacked Superman in a Superman costume that is in this kryptonite, or in this hunk of kryptonite here. So we get a further flashback, and the hunchback double tells him that once upon a time on Krypton, basically Jor-El did a Hakuna Matata with Kal-El to reveal him to the crowd, but his wife, Superman's mother, had a second son a few minutes later, but was a hunchback, was a freak. And so they basically took the hunchback and built a little crib down in a cave, and hid him down there in a hole, because Jor-El would never ever accept a misshapen child. So some good parenting there. So anyway, the hunk of rock that the hunchback was imprisoned in followed the spaceship to Earth and landed nearby. And of course, the lost hermit child Kor-El grew up in a cave and watched Kal-El turn into Superboy. So when he did emerge and made his own little Superboy costume, Kal-El basically said there's only room for one Superboy, punched him into a hole, and then hurled this rock back into space, and then used his heat vision to catalyze the cave chunk into a special form of kryptonite. And Superboy, ever the humanitarian, says it's not strong enough to kill him, just trap him powerless in space forever. No food, no toilet. That asteroid's going to be filled up with poop very, very rapidly. Anyway, so Superman is, the Justice League's like, you are a dick. Even, I like, there's even this clip of Ram Druid, the space roustabout, looking at Cal like, you ass. So anyway, and Batman's like, well, you must have just forgotten this memory because it was too painful that you were a crazy asshole who sent your twin brother, hunchback, into space after the mother hid him in a cave. Anyway, so he frees him, and but in freeing him, Superman exposed himself to this strange kryptonite and died. And so Earth welcomes its new hero, the hunchback Superman, who flies in and immediately announces that he assumes sole power as Big Brother in America, and basically says I can withstand any, and lets all the criminals go, and forms a Superman army, and then turns the whole place into a fascist country. So, meanwhile, the Superman who was thought dead was revived slowly on an uncharted planet by a solar heat lamp and a fire that's over a volcano, and that restored Superman's powers to some extent. And then it's like, we got to get back to Earth because your hunchback brother has gone full Hitler. So this leads us to the moment where our comic opened, which is Batman is cornered. And Batman basically decides, I've got no papers, so they'll shoot, and why not let them? Why go on fighting? I've given up the will to live. Like, Batman's just calling it. But he learns that Superman is alive, and it causes him to be rejuvenated with energy, and so he cracks some heads and meets back up with Superman and says, hey, maybe you don't have a brother. Maybe that was all just a bunch of bullshit here. And Superman and Ram Druid are like, what? And it's like, we just translated some random tablet we found, but I'm not even sure this tablet is real. Like, this could be a scheme. This could, because it doesn't really. I'm starting to doubt this hunchback story. So Superman's like, enough talking now. I'm wasting time. And he basically decided to shout, I'm here to fight you. So he springs into action over the Washington Monument. But the hunchback Superman immediately just starts kicking his ass all over the place. And Kal-El, the real Superman, gets weaker and weaker. The hunchback Superman pounds him into the earth. Superman's always going down into the core of the earth. He then picks up the Washington Monument and just spears it down into this tight little cave. He takes his big thing and puts it into a hole way too small to contain it, but just crams it in anyway, piercing and probably causing a lot of discomfort. Anyway, it drives Superman down into the Earth's core, but Superman manages to expel the big rod that was penetrating the hole and put it back up on the lawn. So that's good. He just flips it back up where it belongs. It's all good. I like how in this time period they were just like, they toss around monuments like no problem. But anyway, so as the battle continues, the hunchback punches Superman so hard he has to grab onto the Capitol dome, which spins around like a top, like whoop 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 whoop, whoop, and that allows it to absorb the velocity. That's not how science works or buildings, but that's okay. So Superman tries to go on the offense, but just no luck whatsoever. He is just punched out. And Batman and Ram Druid, I don't know where the rest of the Justice League is at this point, but Superman's just weakened and his strength is gone. It's all been sucked out of him. And Ram Druid gets shot in the back. And so that's cool. And the hunchback Superman announces that as a prisoner of state, he's going to execute Superman. And so it's like, well, there's nothing we can do. And then we catch up with Superman. He's like just chilling in the White House, feet up on the table, very disrespectful. And he basically, Batman's like, you're a dick. And Superman's like, no, you're a dick. And then Batman's like, no, you're a dick. You're a dick, buddy. And then they go back and forth like that for a while. And then, Hunchback Superman agrees to let Batman visit him. But it's all a big plot where it's not really Batman, it's the Atom dressed up like Batman. And they manage to get Superman kind of out of his clothes and to escape with him. So what's interesting is anyway, it's all big trick. Adam, sorry, I've got it all wrong. Adam was dressed up like Superman, and when he shrunk, then he just disappeared, and this allowed Batman and Superman to dress up like Batman. There's a lot of changing of clothes. Like, I've always wondered, like, are the guards just hanging out while these guys are getting naked and switching their clothes around? It seems a little weird. At any rate, so Batman and Superman get back to the Fortress of Solitude. Superman's still powerless. And they're trying to figure out a plan. So that what they figure out is that, like, let's get his parents' statues and then make some kryptonite. And Superman's powerless, so he can do this. And they're basically going to cover these statues in kryptonite or infuse them there. So they're basically going to hand the statues over to Hunchback Superman. and then get him. So Batman and Superman, the real Superman, dress up like kind of Arab businessmen, and they're from the country of Rajasthan. So that's cool, and they're all cool. They're good with this new order, whereas the rest of the members of the UN are not. So we see like all the different countries, including people from Saudi Arabia and Germany and Russia, are like, no, no, we'll never tolerate dictator Superman. But they've got this giant statue that's coated in kryptonite, and Hunchback Superman decides he wants to hold the hands of his beloved parents, but in doing so, he immediately falls into pain. His costume melts away. People get naked all the time, and it turns out it is the parasite. And somehow the kryptonite caused the parasite to weaken, and so Batman and Superman get out of their Arab disguises, and then the parasite just disperses into atoms, and just he's reverted to a cloud of atoms, and it's all gone. Superman realizes his powers have now come back, and the reason why they're draining away is because the parasite was taking them. Batman karate chops the evil Nazi foot soldiers away, and then the statue. The statue is dripping for some reason. I'm not sure. The kryptonite drips off of them. It's unclear. At any rate, we learn kind of a little bit about how the parasite came to be. We don't really. It doesn't really make any sense. He came back, and then why he thought I guess he basically has been absorbing some of Superman's memories, and so he tricked himself into believing he was this hunchback character, and then Superman almost feels sorry for him. And as they leave the steps, he and Batman kind of muse on the fact that the world's back to its usual problems: war, poverty, injustice, the normal everyday stuff. And there you go. So mission end. They're pretty casual over the fact that America was briefly taken over by a hunchback Nazi Superman. But anyway, there you have it. This is comics. There are some other stories in there, and we got Wonder Woman is also fighting a Nazi robot, so that's good. There's a lot of Nazi fighting in this one. Hey, what are you gonna do? Nazis, God, we can't escape the Nazis. And then we have a brief story here with the Black Canary, and there's werewolves chasing girls around in towels. It's exciting for everybody. At least we got like an ad for good old Hostess fruit pies and rifles. So it's an air gun. So it's all good. No, actually, I take it back. It's not an air. No, it's a BB gun. It's a BB gun, not an air gun. What am I talking about? It's wholesome. That's what it is. Hey, so there's another adventure of Superman being a crazy jerk and taking over the world, sort of. It's kind of a bait and switch. Anyway, I don't know. What can you say? Did you happen to read this issue? Wasn't it cool that this stuff was hitting for $1? Like a lot of comics for $1. It's pretty cool stuff. At any rate, this was in the bold old year of 1977, right before the DC implosion. So not that long ago. Jeanette Kahn, the publisher. It's all good. Paul Levitz. Fun times. Hey, what do you think? Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Let me know what you think of the issue below and these crazy Superman tales. But otherwise, thanks for listening.